Hi everyone, I got a new mic. Hopefully you can hear me better now. Here's a Squirrel version of my favorite face brushes. Some of these are limited edition and hence discontinued. The Chikuhodo Z1 on the left right here is the first one I'm going to be talking about, and this may come as, ooh, that is overexposed. Sorry. This may come as no surprise to those of you who have followed me on the sub and have watched my other videos. It's one of my favorite shapes. Round and egg-like. And I did talk about some of these in my gray Squirrel powder brush video, so I'm not going to show you the density, the flexibility and all that stuff. So this is dense yet provides a good amount of flexibility. The density level doesn't render it floppy or airy. Chikuhodo's gray squirrel hairs are very fine, silky, and soft, just like Koyudo's. And it's one of my favorite brands for gray squirrel hairs. I use this for soft pressed finishing powder, particularly with hourglass ambient lighting powders. It pairs perfectly together, smooths and blends everything flawlessly, and gives an airbrushed effect. Anyway, it's my favorite gray squirrel powder brush of all time, and I think it's perfect. Okay, put this over here. All right, so the second one is the Chikuhodo 2015 Lumiere powder brush. This is a denser paddle shape and holiday version of the Z9. Okay, now it's not overexposed, it's so weird. I think Chikuhodo really hit home with the powder cheek and large flat eyeshadow brush from this Christmas set. This is the first paddle shaped brush I ever came to like. So you can see the side and back and the top. It's not thin or as widely flared out like the Hakuhodo S102, the Kokutan finishing brush, or the Wangoss 2015 holiday brush. Sometimes flat shapes makes the powder or finishing powder application feel a lot nicer than a round shape, as it sweeps across the face with less of the tips coming in contact with your face. I also use this for finishing powder since I have combination skin, and it is one of my precious brushes. All right, so next up is this red handle one right here, which is the Koyudo Gray Squirrel medium powder brush. It's the softest squirrel powder brush I own besides the Kabuki. I was honestly surprised and impressed by how soft the hairs are. It has a round head, this, and it's airy. It's one of the very few airy brushes that I like, and the airiness makes it feel even softer than it already is. Pairs really well with Guerlain meteorites and soft pressed finishing powders because the hairs are super soft. Like my not my sensitivity scale, but like my scale for softness is just so high now because my skin is really sensitive, so this is still soft enough for me. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just babbling now. Anyways, so the next one we have is the Koyudo Gray Squirrel Kabuki right here. I ran out of space, so I have to show it to you like this. All right. And I do generally like handles more than Kabukis, but this came back in stock last summer on CD Japan for a great deal. So I'm really glad that I bought it because it used to cost 20,000 yen a couple of years ago, and last year when it came back it was 8,000 yen, which is a great deal. And if you ever see it come back, I highly recommend this Kabuki. The hairs are the same as the last brush with the red handle. According to the specs, it has double the hair thickness of the Z1, but it feels airier since it has a lot less densely packed. The head is a lot less densely packed. So I'm just gonna, you can see that with the Z1, it's more densely packed and the ferrule is not as wide. Ooh. Okay. And yeah, it does feel extremely smooth on the face. Like this one and the red handled one, you can barely even feel the hair tips on your face. It just feels like nothing. I don't even need any product on it. I just use it as the last step to blend everything together, and it seriously does such a great job of that. A subscriber said it's softer than her Suku face brush, and I think we both agree that it's amazing. So this brush and the one with the red handle, they do rival Red Squirrel's hair softness. All right. Okay, so the next one we have is the Shosho Long Red Squirrel Angled Powder Brush. This is from their P series that was limited edition last year. And after testing out Red Squirrel brushes in different shapes, this angled flat shape is my favorite. Red Squirrel picks up the least amount of product from all hair types I've tried. So I'm just gonna twirl it so you can see it better. And for round Red Squirrel shapes, I don't think that that the hair type fares well with that kind of shape, because for blush it's too diffused, and for finishing powder it doesn't feel as soft as a flat shape. So the angled shape really allows me to get into the smaller areas of my face, and the brush seems like it has a good amount of hairs, but Red Squirrel is so thin that it feels really airy on the face. Since it picks up so little, you can apply multiple layers of finishing powder and it will give you a glowing effect, not oily. So I did apply 5 layers of Hourglass ambient lighting powder with this once, and I ended up looking really glowy as soon as my facial oils mixed with the setting powder or the finishing powder, and it looked great. I really do love this brush a lot. Okay, next we have the Shiseido powder brush. I actually had the Hakuhodo B00 on my wish list for the longest time. It's also known as the K002 because they're in both lines. I felt that brush in store and wasn't impressed. Hakuhodo doesn't have the best squirrel hairs in my opinion. Some of their squirrel brushes feel better than others, like the S111 and the Wangos airbrush that they make for Wangos. Yeah, it's just some of them feel better than others, and I would actually just stick with Chikuhodo and Koyudo for Gray Squirrel. And so back to the Shiseido brush. Chikuhodo is the OEM for Shiseido. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I'm happy I went with this one instead because it's cheaper and I don't have to worry about messing it up if I use it with setting powder with a tacky base underneath. Just to show you the side, the back. It's a flat paddle shape and it's wide, but I think this is the widest that I'll go in terms of like flat paddle shapes, because anything wider I don't like. And it's hard to see, but some of the hairs on the outer layer are wavy, which is atypical of squirrel brushes. To me, it indicates a lower hair grade along with goat. And so lower quality, yeah, these are made with lower quality gray squirrel hairs, but it's still soft due to the airiness of the head. And it does feel luxurious and relaxing when sweeping across the face. I read on a blog that it performs the same as a Suku face and it's the same softness as well. So if you're on a budget and you can't afford the Suku face, then I highly recommend this brush. Bundling isn't perfect, but it's like 50 bucks, so you're not gonna get like, you know, like Z1 perfection when this one costs like $150 and then this one costs a fraction of the price. All right, then let's go to the Hakuhodo G50. This is a flattened angled brush made out of squirrel and horse mix. It's densely packed and I can't feel the horse hairs, or I couldn't feel the horse hairs a while ago when I used it. I think I did use it recently, I couldn't really feel it. The slim head allows for targeted and soft contour. It's my favorite contour brush, or favorite natural hair contour brush. Yeah, I really like it. All right, so next we have the Chikuhodo RC2. This is the one with the red handle, so it has 2 R's while the black one has 1 R. So black handle is RC2, red handle is RC2. Anyways, this is one of my first Fudes. It's the most affordable gray squirrel blush brush on the market, I think. And the head is short and dense. Let's see. Yeah. It's not stiff because the squirrel hairs are so fine that they allow a good amount of flexibility, even though it's like super dense. It picks up soft products well, and it can grab too much product if you're not careful. I only need to dip into my product about like 1 to 2 times for soft press products like NARS and Surratt. And it applies and blends in a targeted area. I do really like this brush too. All right, so then second to last, finally, we have the Chikuhodo 2015 Lumiere cheek brush. This is the Christmas version of the RC2. Trying to focus, okay. So the hairs feel smoother than the RC2 and are a different color. While the RC2 is a lighter brown, this one is darker, but they basically perform the same. And my last one is the Chiku Hodos V4. I actually didn't like this brush when I first got it. Oh, having a hard time zooming in. Okay. It's flat shaped. I generally don't care for flat shapes, but the Fude world is full of them. So I have come to appreciate flat shapes over the past couple of months. Mine is kind of tapered, if you can see, while a friend's is more flared out. So it really just depends on your bundling. It is dense. Here's the side. And my favorite way to pair this is with by Terry's Terribly Dincilis blush in New Dance. Like that blush formula works really well with this, as well as other soft press formulas like Surratt and Addiction by Ayako and Hourglass. It picks up just the right amount of product for soft press products. And yeah, as you can see, it's not very flexible. So I do appreciate that. The brush allows you to build up the intensity and applies softly yet pigmentedly. So that's all for my favorite squirrel brushes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.